Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating topic. Why, during two of the most tumultuous times in history, World War I and World War II, did India not rise up against British colonial rule? You might be asking, wasn't this the perfect time for rebellion? Or, what were the Indian people's thoughts during these wars? Let's unpack this complex history together. The political landscape before the wars. As soon as the British arrived in India, there was a clear desire among the Indian populace to see them go. But despite this, there were critical moments during the World Wars when India chose not to revolt. It might surprise you, but throughout the early 20th century, India was already a hotbed of political activity. The Indian National Congress, or INC, was gaining traction, advocating for self-rule and mobilizing the masses. Yet, when the World Wars broke out, this fervor didn't translate into rebellion. Let's rewind to the years leading up to World War I. The British were not exactly making friends. In 1905, the division of Bengal aimed to weaken Indian nationalism by creating religious divisions between Hindus and Muslims. This backfired spectacularly, leading to widespread boycotts of British goods and even assassination attempts on British officials. So why didn't this momentum lead to an uprising during the war? The truth is, the British had become adept at quashing dissent. They used laws to detain anyone they saw as a threat to their rule. This preventive detention made it clear that any violent uprising would be met with brutal force. As a result, many Indians felt the risks outweighed the potential gains. Instead of taking up arms, a significant number of people turned their focus towards reforming the political system from within. The promise of autonomy and the rise of nonviolence. You might be wondering why many Indian elites didn't feel the urge to revolt. The British had a powerful bargaining chip. They promised a form of dominion status to India, which was seen as a step towards self-governance. This promise gave many the hope that the British might gradually relinquish control. However, after World War I, these promises faded into the background, leading to frustration and anger among Indian leaders and the populace. But instead of revolution, the response was often more calculated and strategic. The rise of nonviolent resistance became a significant part of the Indian struggle for independence. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi championed peaceful protests, emphasizing the importance of moral high ground over violent rebellion. World War II, a turning point. Fast forward to World War I. He expected India to refuse to support Britain. After all, many Indians had not been consulted about their involvement in the war. Yet, contrary to expectations, the Indian war effort. This was not universally accepted, as many viewed the Nazis and Japanese as even greater threats. But here's the catch. Many Indians felt that the British were the lesser of two evils. The political climate was complicated. While they wanted to rid themselves of British rule, the alternative seemed even more daunting. A measured approach rather than outright rebellion. The Quit India movement and its impact. In 1942, the Quit India movement marked a significant turning point. It was a mass protest demanding an end to British rule. The British response was swift and ruthless. They arrested most of the nationalist leaders attempting to stifle the movement. However, this didn't suppress the underlying desire for independence. Rather, it exposed the sheer number of people who were committed to the cause. So, did the Quit India movement fail? Not entirely. While it may not have immediately impacted the British war effort, it signaled to the British that they could no longer maintain control over India. The spirit of rebellion was ignited, and many began to question if India could remain part of the empire. The shift in British attitudes and the path to independence. As the war dragged on, British attitudes began to shift. In Britain, the Labour Party emerged victorious in the 1945 elections, pledging to grant India independence. This was a game changer. The political landscape in Britain itself was transforming, with increasing opposition to the idea of maintaining the empire. Many British citizens began to recognize the moral and ethical implications of colonialism. So, as we reflect on why India didn't revolt during the World Wars, we can see that a mix of strategic choices, political maneuvering, and the desire for gradual reform played significant roles. While the urge to rebel was there, the reality of the situation often forced Indians to consider the bigger picture. The fight for independence was complex, and it took years of struggle, negotiation, and sacrifice to finally break free from colonial rule in 1947. Thanks for joining me on this journey through history. If you found this topic as intriguing as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into history. What other historical events do you want to explore? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning and keep learning.